Right guys, Mark Crossfield with Coach Lockie here. Welcome Coach.
Hello.
GolfOnline videos. We're talking drivers.
Drivers.
And some of the decisions people should make when buying drivers, because there are many drivers out on the market for people to think about buying. And what are some of the things they should look for? So we get changeable head, so M1 here, we get 2 changeable weights, changeable neck. We get something like the Callaway XR 16 here that has no changeable weights but a changeable neck. So does that mean this is better than this? What would you say? What does that mean to the consumer who's often thinks more is better?
Yeah, well, first thing is to get tested.
Okay.
Personally, I always go by looks first.
Yeah.
What I like the look of, and then test it to see if it performs well.
Okay, that's interesting. So you're saying you're going to put them down,
Yeah.
look, so you're more this perspective looking. Yeah. So you're not saying that one, because out of the 2 in the shop floor, that one might look nicer because they're sat like this. You're not meaning that though, are you?
No, I'm like, everyone's done it. They go in a shop, they pick up a club, give it a little waggle.
Yeah.
And think, oh yeah, that's nice. And
yeah.
That's sort of the feeling that I go with.
Okay.
And then move on from there. There might be 2 or 3 drivers that you like the look of, and then it's the one that performs the best.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I'm the same. I would go on looks, very much so. So I like the look of that, don't like the look of that. That's going to come down to shapes, size. So this is an XR16, this is the XR16 Pro.
Yeah.
And if you look at the 2, I do prefer, for instance, on this one, the way that you get not the coloured in bumps.
Yeah.
So this one is black all on top, but this one has slightly more coloured in bumps, because often a better player wants clean looks.
Yeah.
So it's important to the manufacturer making this club. They're trying to deliver what they think the consumer wants. What about if I'm someone who thinks, so if we take this driver for instance, or you could say the Pro XR over the standard, I spin the driver a lot. So maybe I should look at low spinning drivers.
Yeah.
Is that an option for players?
Oh yeah, loads of different CG placements in drivers. They're also movable, like you said, on this one. So if you want lower spin, move the weight forward. So yeah, there's lots of options in that respect as well.
Yeah, I mean, a good example, I think Steve Buzzer, who plays in our videos, always struggled with spin on his drivers. He's actually got a Callaway 816 Alpha, which is very low spinning, and I saw a marked improvement in his game.
Yeah, last time we played it was very
and I've played it with him a few times from the driver change. I think he had it in Ireland, or a version of, and then he's had new ones on a few other trips that we've done. And it was noticeable, the different ball flight appearance he was getting, and then what that does to his confidence when he sees that different ball flight.
And that sort of looked like it was going throughout his whole game, that confidence as well.
Yeah, it does a bit, doesn't it? Yeah, absolutely. So it's interesting. So lots of people are really into like the tech, as we call it, around drivers, where I think even the tour pros that I've been lucky enough to speak to, look and feel is always one of the first things that they go for, and similar to you said, they'll go on numbers afterwards, just to confirm.
The first thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like the look of that when you speak to the better player.
And I've heard some tour players pick up clubs at company days and go, I couldn't hit that. You know, and that's a company that's sponsoring them.
Yeah.
They've got their version within the brand, or they look at that one and go, no, I couldn't play that one. They've not even hit it. The numbers might be loads better, but in their mind they don't want to stand on a tee and don't want to hit that. So I think it's kind of like a I like the fact that this video is trying to empower you to make some decisions, because I think people often are scared to make decisions because they don't quite know. Where actually you do know when it comes to those things. Now, when it comes to lower spinning and higher spinning, we are kind of talking 500 revs almost maximum. So if you're spinning it at 4,000 revs, which is quite a high spin rate, so you might get balls that kind of balloon up in the air and stop, not go as far as, say, another player who you think you should hit further from. Going to a lower spinning option isn't going to make you hit it at 2,000 revs. But it might drag a few revs off. Someone like Steve could often get up at 3,000 revs with a driver, maybe 3.2, where he's always in the 2,000s when I've tested with him. And that makes a big difference over a period of time. Where the lower spinning to the higher spinning ones. What about head shape? I got an interesting take on head shape. Be interested to hear. I'm not going to tell you it. What's your just chucking you right in? What about head size?
Head size.
Because it's a lot of press, isn't it? Like this is a 460 head, this is a 450. What does that actually mean?
For me, like, head size is just a confidence thing. Like, I enjoy seeing a bigger head down there.
So is a 460 head going to make you see a bigger head down there than a 450 or a 440 head?
No, not always.
Why not?
Because some have the sort of stretched
Yeah.
back idea.
Yeah.
Whereas some have the more sort of pear-shaped, is that what you would call
Yeah,
that?
yeah, absolutely.
Or teardrop shape. So not always.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And that's a great point, because lots of people, I mean, lots of manufacturers now are not writing the size of the head on the clubs in the like the guff, because purchasers are using it as a purchase option. This is a 460 head. I need the bigger head. Well, you can get, subject to shape. I mean, you could have this pen could be 460 if it was long enough.
Yeah.
And then when I look down at it, it's going to look like a pen.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's the shape. It's the size of the head. So if you put it in a bucket of water, how much water would disperse, basically. But that can be put in different shapes. So I'm not a massive one who just think, oh, 460 head, yeah, that's perfect for you. Oh, 440 head, that's a tall head. You know, I've got. So for instance, on these two drivers, you've got 460, 450, 450 Pro, 460 cc's on the standard version. The standard version looks a lot bigger than the Pro.
Loads bigger, doesn't it?
Because it's
Very
not as
stretched.
deep, and they've stretched it.
Yeah.
So basically they've squished it and stretched it. So it gives the gaming appearance of being much bigger, even though it's only 10 cc's, which is why I think lots of people get a bit confused with head shape, CC shape. Good stuff. So a little bit of ideas there if you're thinking about buying a driver. Just I think a lot of it is there to try and empower you to make a better decision. Come into GolfOnline, come into the store, try some, speak to the pros, and have a conversation about what they feel like, and they'll operate the machines and show you what the numbers are doing, rather than you kind of fuss about them. There you go. Thanks, Matt.
No problem.
As always. Very nice information. Post comments down below and speak to you soon.